Hey everybody, Jerry Reiner here with you once again for another episode of Inside the Match. This is going to be episode 4. We're going to highlight a couple of guys that I worked with back in the day. These matches take place somewhere around 1996 or 1997 for Gulf Coast Wrestling, which was a promotion run by Stan Chief Little Bear. And we're going to get right into it with, it's going to be 2 singles matches and a tag team match. We're going to highlight the Dalton boys, the Texas Outlaws. And it's going to be Cowboy Jesse Dalton and Buddy Dalton. And first we're going to do a singles match. It's going to be me and Jesse. So we'll get right into that. Taking on yours truly, the Lightning Kid. This match took place somewhere in 1997 if I'm not mistaken. So I'm about 5 years into my career at this point. So pretty much Jesse's going to be leading the match. Usually the heel is the more experienced person in the match, or at least it used to be. And they would always call the match and lead things along. And Jesse had me, I think, by a good 4 or 5 years. Breaking the momentum there, doing a little heel shtick to start things off. Taking his time there. Trying to throw off the babyface in the early going. Jesse was a great talent. He was a southpaw, so watch for that lariat coming from the left side. Jesse and Buddy, his tag team partner who's on the outside for this match, both used the lariat. One from the left, one from the right. I always thought that was pretty cool. Jesse foregoing the babyface shine there, it seems.
Looks like Dalton separating those fingers behind the back of the official.
There's an oldie but a goodie. The heel tells the referee that he's getting his hair pulled and then turns around and pulls the babyface's hair. Yeah, this is an example of one of those times that you can rearrange the structure of the psychology, your match structure. And again, Jesse's calling the match, so he decided, and he might not have known me as well at that point, so he's kind of testing me out, making sure I'm able to do what he needs me to do. Wait, here's a duck of the clothesline. Duck of another clothesline. There's a crossbody. So it just took him a little bit to get into that babyface shine. But yeah, you can play with the structure of it and move things around a little bit, and it'll still work. I feel like it used to be a lot easier to keep the crowd engaged than it is now. I mean, I wouldn't know about now. I've been out of the business for over a decade, but from what I can tell, crowds are getting harder and harder to keep engaged in the matches. Used to be you could do a bunch of shtick at the beginning and they were still into it. And I recall this crowd being particularly good that night. Like I said, lots of kids. Oh, what a dastardly heel going right to the eyes. But yeah, I'm in the role of the underneath babyface underdog, fighting from underneath, of course. As you should be when you're 5 years in the business. I feel like this is around the time that I really started getting good. This maybe a couple of years before. But boy, for that first few years, it's hard to watch. Nice rest hold here. And you see Buddy there on the left of the screen on the outside. The next match is going to be a single between Buddy and I. And then the final match is going to be for the Tag Team Championship at Gulf Coast Wrestling with me and Little Bear. Chief Little Bear is my partner against the Daltons. There's a little bit of that chicanery.
Above the head of the official. Once again, draping the throat of the Lightning Kid over that second rope.
And again, back then you didn't have to do a whole hell of a lot to keep the fans engaged.
Jesse now with the advantage. Scoops his
Here's a scoop and a slam.
full body slam.
I think that's my second bump of the match.
The kid like a sack of potatoes and goes to a blatant chokehold right in front of the referee. Once again, Dalton.
Some good heel heat here
Referee's count.
from Jesse.
4 to 5. And a double nerve clasp now applied on the left.
Slapping on another hold. Easy night.
Easiest moment.
Anytime you're working with Jesse Dalton.
This move can have a paralyzation.
And of course at the time it probably drove me nuts because I really wanted to get off the leash and just go, go, go. But it's good that there were veterans like Jesse Dalton to kind of slow me down and be like, nah man, you don't have to go all the time.
And the kid,
Just sit right here and listen to the people.
if he's gonna have any chance.
And you can see him screaming from the outside there.
What great action we've seen thus far, wrestling fans. Independent Wrestling Classics.
A lot of people say, you know, if you could do it all over again, would you? And like I'm in the process of scheduling a couple of hip replacements. And the answer to that is yes, I would do it again, but I would have slowed it down a great deal. I wouldn't have been bouncing around like a human Super Ball in the beginning.
Hoists him up in the air.
Nice standing suplex.
Rushing to the head of the Lightning Kid, a high vertical suplex. Textbook application there by Dalton off the ropes.
Oh, the big leg drop.
Boy boot right across the face. And instead of going for the cover, choking away now at the Lightning Kid. Looks like he's using some of that wrist tape to choke away.
Buddy getting the attention of the official there so Jesse can do some shenanigans behind his back. Looked like he took some wrist tape off and choked me with it.
Taking advantage of the official, the Texas Outlaws. Ryder helpless on the canvas, spread eagle.
Oh, here we go again.
Action tactic. A low blow there
You create that 2-on-1 situation,
across the lower abdomen.
which makes it even harder for the babyface to come back from behind.
It's Jesse Dalton.
Which means that when he does, the fans are going to pop even bigger. Just some good old school psychology.
Once again by Dalton. Shoots Ryder into
Oh.
the ropes. And a big knee right to the midsection.
A little bit of scrambled eggs there, but we got where we were going.
In the lungs of the Lightning
The old knee to the breadbasket.
needs to mount a comeback here.
Looked like I wanted to reverse him.
Dalton has
Little miscommunication.
touched this entire matchup with those illegal tactics. Once again, choking away. And a whiplash effect there, snapping the throat of Jerry Reiner off that top rope. Hammering away now, it's Jesse Dalton.
Like I said, when you work with a guy with less experience than you and you're calling the match, generally you give him a little bit to see what he can do,
Boot to the midsection
and then you give him a little more to see what he can do.
on offense.
And if he doesn't screw those up, you know, you work with him, and if he does, you just kind of squash him.
Headlock in the center of the ring. Hooks the leg.
Apparently Jesse liked what he saw thus far. Gave me a little hope spot there.
Combination. Both men getting to their feet.
But Jesse was definitely one of the better
Lightning Kid.
main event tier heels working in the territory back then.
The Lightning Kid will not be denied.
I think mostly in the Panama City area.
One of the patented maneuvers of Jerry Reiner.
Well, another little hope spot comeback.
Once again. And again, Dalton.
And again he goes to the eyes.
Low blow there.
Oh, good grief.
Official.
He is really going for the cheap heat in this one, let me tell you.
Now. Looks like he's going into his jeans. Buddy Dalton once again distracting the referee. He's got a foreign object over those knuckles.
Oh, he's got the foreign object. This must be the finish.
And the Lightning Kid is out like a light.
And that's it. Not much of a comeback in that one, but we told the story we wanted to tell.
Victory. Jesse Dalton.
And next up, I'll be taking on Buddy.
Balls from beginning to end. Reiner having to contend with two men in there. Will be at ringside along with
All right, here we go. Singles contest between Jerry Reiner and Buddy Dalton this time. All of this building toward the Tag Team Championship contest.
checking the kid, but a pre-match attack there by Buddy Dalton hammering away on the Lightning.
And right off the bat, Buddy Dalton with the sneak attack. But let's shine that babyface up. Little head scissor action, a quick arm drag, a drop kick, and out goes Buddy Dalton. And like I said, I'm probably about 5 years into the career at this point, and Jesse and Buddy have been in a little bit longer than me. So they're definitely gonna be leading me along. I'm still learning my craft at this time. I would say when you get about 10 years in, that's when you really start hitting your stride.
You can't trust these Daltons as far as you can throw them, I'll tell you that. And yes, this is practically a 3-on-1.
And this one's going to be more of a 3-on-1 because in addition to Jesse being on the outside, they've got their manager. And I don't remember his name, so if you listen to the commentary in this match, I try to skirt around saying it. I think they had a few different managers over the years.
The Lightning Kid, one of the great cruiserweights on the independent circuit of professional wrestling today.
The video quality on this particular match isn't the best, so I apologize for that. All of this stuff is coming off of really, really old VHS tapes.
On the canvas. Reiner there pleading his case to the official.
Veteran referee Murray Calloway there. He was a fantastic official back in the day.
Wrist lock now applied by Dalton. Trying to slow down the pace of this matchup to a more methodical level.
Selling that arm.
Wait a second, reversal of the wrist lock.
Oh, here we go with a little reverse action.
Winding the arm himself now. Wait a sec, Buddy there. Claiming that Reiner was pulling his hair and then pulled the hair.
Both of these guys really good old school workers. I worked with Jesse a lot more than Buddy. I think this might be the only single match I ever had with Buddy Dalton. And I can't remember, I think he worked for a few years under a different name. I might be mistaken there, but I can't remember it. Too many shots to the head.
So they're asking Reiner if he wants to submit. Reiner refusing. Back once again to a standing position. A quick knee lift right to the breadbasket there from Buddy Dalton. And a hard right hand right to the jaw. Takes
Nice bump there.
a little shoulder
Oh, quick hope spot.
and a schoolboy roll from behind. The Lightning Kid taking charge. Arm drag takedown.
Another arm drag. I wasn't huge on doing arm drags, but, you know, being a smaller baby face, the heels would call it constantly, so I ended up doing lots of arm drags. That was kind of the old school go-to for the baby face back then. You don't see a lot of them anymore.
Takes Dalton back to the canvas and drops his leg across the bicep. Once again locking in that arm bar on the mat. There you see Jesse Dalton, the outlaw at ringside.
And I assume Buddy's going to take back over here pretty soon. Oh, wait. I got to get something in real quick. Here's my Barry Windham tribute, the Flying Lariat.
And it's the Kid still in the driver's seat.
So I guess you could consider this section of the match the babyface shine still.
The Lightning Kid showing some good wrestling skills here.
Oh, little double reversal.
Taken to the canvas there, but Reiner with dogged determination hanging on to that limb. But in my opinion, Reiner needs to speed up the pace of this match. He needs to utilize that
And the heel breaking the hold with his feet on the ropes.
for Jesse Dalton. It may be his only chance in this.
As the babyface, you kind of really don't want to do that so much, but as a heel, it's always good to kind of take the coward's way out and get to the ropes.
Buddy's partner Jesse. And another great singles bout.
If you're the babyface, of course, you want to earn it,
Buddy Dalton with a
so you earn the fans' admiration. Uh-oh, look out.
and watch the outlaw Jesse Dalton
Little sideways bump to the outside there.
posting the Lightning Kid.
Oh, going postal.
A hard left, the southpaw from Royal Triumph.
Jesse getting his licks in right in front of the referee there.
The Kid back to the ropes.
Murray being kind of lenient. Yeah, that bottom rope doesn't have a lot of spring to it.
A one-handed cover from Dalton, but the Kid kicks his way out of that.
Now, see, I could have just kicked out there, but I went with kicking him.
Buddy Dalton,
To me, it adds a little something extra.
hard knee lift right to the butt of the jaw. Brang Reiner's
I believe this is in Chipley, Florida, if I'm not mistaken. I used to know where that first match was from, but I can't remember the name of the place now.
once again.
But I wrestled in Chipley a lot. It's pretty obvious which building we're in on that one.
Lightning Kid. There's a field goal. That one's worth 3 points, wrestling fans.
The old National Guard Armory. Oh, back out to the floor I go.
To the arena floor.
So look for some more outside interference.
Getting involved in this matchup. Face first in the ring apron.
If I'm not mistaken, Don Fargo did a Dalton gimmick back in the day. He did quite a few different gimmicks. But I trained under him, me and the Highlander, for a little while. And I remember him giving the Dalton gimmick to another student he was training. But I believe he was a Dalton himself. So this is one of those time-tested gimmicks that got used over and over again.
Boots with that one. A one-handed nonchalant cover. And only a count of
Another count of 2.
reverse chinlock now applied.
Slapping on the old rest hold so we can see where we're going next.
Shoulder blades. Pulling back on that chin. Trying to wear down the Lightning Kid.
Looks like I had my arms up calling something there,
Trying to keep Reiner
which I should have been keeping my mouth shut.
from the top turnbuckle.
I always did like that little hope spot though. Couple of elbows and then take the knee to the gut.
Another hard right hand right to the face there from Buddy Dalton. Arguing with the official there as Calloway warns him about the clenched fist. Irish whip into the ropes. Reiner anticipates the clothesline.
Duck of the clothesline, crossbody. That's a classic.
Two, and the Lightning Kid
And is there going to be a cutoff here? No, I think we're going home. So we'll call that the babyface comeback.
fighting fire with fire now. It's the Lightning Kid. And Buddy Dalton's down and out here. The Kid now distracted. Off to the side.
Oh, looks like the manager has the referee's attention over here.
Distracting the official. Leverage
Take a face full of turnbuckle. This one's a little awkward. I wish I had been standing for that.
across the face. Jesse with that bullet
But that's going to be your finish.
and a travesty of justice, wrestling fans. The free count.
And those dastardly heels got over on me again.
One half of the Texas Outlaws.
I'll see if I can get my revenge in the next bout when I tag with Chief Little Bear
Teaming tag
against these two for the Tag Team Championships at the Boys and Girls Club in Panama City, Florida.
Stay tuned, wrestling fans. Up next, the Lightning Kid receives another opportunity.
That poor Lightning Kid just can't win.
Jesse Dalton.
Alright, folks, here we go. We're in Panama City. And the Boys and Girls Club is packed to the rafters with raucous kids. That was a really great night, great crowd. And the Daltons jump-starting things from the outset. And like I said, this is Gulf Coast Wrestling. It's Chief Little Bear's promotion. And he always ran a really good show. But here come the baby faces. There's the Barry Windham tribute again, as Stan takes care of... Oh, wait, little double team action. Oh, double drop kick. I had forgot about that one. Little rock and roll express in there. So basically, the psychology for a tag team match is slightly different, but pretty much the same, if that makes sense. As a regular singles match, you just replace the babyface comeback with the hot tag. Basically, the babyface that's in the ring taking the heat from the heels makes the tag and does a big comeback. And in this case, if I'm not mistaken, we changed up a little and we have 2 hot tags, which you can do in a tag team match. You have the first babyface take some heat, makes the tag, and then they cut off the second babyface, who then makes the tag to the original babyface. But you'll see it in action here shortly. And Jesse was always really good at interacting with the crowd. Just a great heel. I have quite a few Jesse Dalton matches on my channel if you want to check them out. I know I've got a good one with him and Greg Brown from Bainbridge, Georgia. One of him with Fatu from Panama City that's also really good. And again, we're still in the opening of the match, so he's going to shine the baby face. Nice drop kick there, well timed. I remember this night was a big teachable moment for me as far as having merch and selling gimmicks, because right after this, there was an intermission, and Little Bear and I sold Polaroids, and he cut me in on like $1 a Polaroid. We made some good money that night. I remember one of the kids asking me if I was a Power Ranger. I was like, yeah, something like that. Jesse's so good with the shtick. Jesse Dalton, one of the, there's a few wrestlers I know of that eventually would become Men of the Cloth, and he's one of them. I'm friends with him on Facebook. Still giving us the shine. And man, those kids were into it. Of course, I've still got the 70s little boy bowl haircut for some reason. Took me a while to get out of that one. Oh, looks like I'm asking them if they want to see the Chief. I believe Little Bear trained by the Malenkos, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Boris Malenko. And boy, was he a veteran and a master of the craft. Now, is he going to shine Stan at all, or are we going right into the heat? Let's find out. Because if we're going right into the heat, I might be wrong about 2 hot tags. I thought I remembered me hot tagging Stan, but I might be thinking about our Mariana match, which is also on my channel if you want to check that out. Hope spot, look for a clothesline after the sunset flip. There's a little cheat code for you folks. After a babyface kicks out of a sunset flip, you will almost always see a clothesline immediately after. At least back then. It's weird if you watch WWE programming or modern programming. WWE in particular, I believe it's against their rules to do a hot tag like the normal psychology of a tag team match, the formula. If I'm not mistaken, they don't do it. I could be wrong about that. Maybe I'm just thinking about the false tag. Like a lot of the old tried and true stuff they got rid of. Because it's not the quote-unquote WWE style. And this is all just assumptions on my part, because I've never been anywhere near anything like that. I am Outlaw Mud Show through and through. There's some good heel activity in the corner behind the official's back as I'm desperately trying to get in the ring. Buddy putting the rest hold on Chief Little Bear here. I remember that place being packed to the gills with kids. There's that same cutoff. Couple of elbows and a knee to the breadbasket. Oh, a little heel high spot here. Side slam and a leg drop off the top rope. Jesse and Buddy were just really good together. I'm trying to remember if there was another version of the team where Jesse was tagging with somebody else. It's a possibility. It's a little hazy. But this is the version I worked with, and my favorite version. Come get me out of the ring, ref, so I don't look bad. Not going in there to help. There's that left side lariat. Looked a little powdery soft, but that's okay. Fool me once, shame on me. There's the crossbody spot. Kick out, and we're about to see a cutoff, I'd imagine. Little Bear wandering over to the wrong corner. But yeah, the people were just into this from beginning to end, start to finish. That's one thing Stan was always really good is at promoting the events. There were always people in the seats in his shows. Nice back body drop. Jesse heeling it up. If you'll notice, the business is always better on the indies when it's better in the big leagues like WWE, WCW, all that stuff. And it lags a little behind. So even when business starts to drop off in the big companies, you still get a little bit of residual business in the indies. Just something I've noticed over the years. But for the most part, when it's good up there, it's good down here. And at this point in 97 or 98, it was good up there. So there's a lot of people in the seats. Oh, fiery comeback there, but to no avail. Jesse from the outside. And I believe right here you'll see me yelling at the heels to cut him off because he's too close. When you had a good raucous crowd like that, you could call spots louder too. When you're wrestling in front of almost no one, you can hear a pin drop. It's really hard to call spots. Oh, there's a shot for me to the outside. And I imagine that'll bring me into the ring to where they can do some more heel shenanigans. Had to sell it for a second. Make sure the ref gets between me and them. Just one of the really good heel tag teams from back in the day, these two. There was these guys, the Black Sheep, Bobby Dahl and Danny Rowland were always a really good tag team. Sign of the Times, which was Prime Time and C-Note, or back then he was known as Big Time. They were short-lived. I think they only lasted a couple of years, but they were a good tag team. And they could be heel or babyface. There's a few good ones back in the day. I was always a part of like a mix and match tag team back then. It was like me and Chief Little Bear, or me and Mikey Webb, or me and Nick Vortex. Never really had a solid tag team until Justin Cruz and I started tagging as the Invasion. Oh, look out, this might be the hot tag. Here comes the big babyface comeback. So yeah, there is only one hot tag. I was wrong. I must have been thinking about Marianna, Florida. And if anything, the crowd in that one is even more into it than this one. Oh, there's the big lariat miscue, the super kick, and the finish. New tag team champions, folks. This may have been the inaugural crowning of the tag team titles. I'm not positive. I don't think Buddy and Jesse were the champions coming in. I think it was a new championship in Gulf Coast Wrestling. But that's going to do it for this week, folks. I believe that was my first championship also. And those tag belts are interesting looking. I kind of like them. They're more old school. But thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next one for Inside the Match. Like and subscribe.